My name's Emmanuel. Uh, Merced, as you guys see. My name's Emmanuel Merced, aka Intoxicated. Uh, don't ask about the nickname. Talk about that later.
Yeah.
I live in, I'm from New York, but I currently live in New Jersey. Um, I have two daughters and a wife, and yeah, it's pretty much
Nice, nice.
where we at right now.
So let's just go back.
uh,
Let's go back for the people because people don't know we've known each
yeah,
other
they
for
gotta know.
how long?
Yeah,
We've known each other for since high school. So
right. This is like
10,
2006. I want to
yeah,
say
yeah. So we met up in
2006.
high school when we went to school in the Bronx and
Right.
danced together and all that life and Jamel and Showtime
Yes.
and my gosh, bro. It's been
Showtime?
it's
What?
showtime.
What's up?
It's been a hot man. But we knew each other
Yeah,
when we were kids, man. We were kids. We were high school kids.
we,
Now
yeah,
we got kids.
we were kids. We yeah. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Yeah, no, we knew each other. We were kids, and now we have kids, and it's just so different. It's
It
just
is.
so different now.
Jeez. So tell us about your
You don't
kiddos,
even know how
man.
to
You said you
feel no
got
more.
two girls. How old?
Yes, I have an 11-year-old and I have a 4-year-old, and both of them are girls. So
You and my
proud father too.
uh-huh.
There are one is biologically mine, and then the other one is not. But I've raised the oldest one since she was 3.
Yeah. Yeah.
So technically she is mine because I've raised her since 3, and she's following suit. So
That's all
can't
that
say she's
matters.
not.
I love it. I love it.
Right, right.
So what do you find what do you like? Let's just go. What do you like most about being a dad?
That I can watch them grow into young women that are learning from what's going on now, especially with the whole COVID situation, and
Mhm.
how to adapt into certain things. Because it's not easy right at this moment. It's not easy, and also as they were like when they were younger, like, especially the oldest one right now, when she was growing up, she had a little rough time at first, and then now she's growing up to become a young woman. She's 11, so from the time that she was 3 to 11, it was a big jump, a big change.
Yeah.
And it's just I enjoy watching her grow up and become this person, that I can actually admire and look at and be like, man, she's going to be a beautiful young woman that actually is intelligent. Grades are off the chain. I can't even complain about that. You know what I'm saying? And just have fun with watching them become women.
Yeah.
Scary, but still fun.
That part, right? That part
Yeah,
for real though. Oh my gosh. I mean you got a head
scary, but it's
start.
still fun.
You're already at 11. So
Right. So the 4-year-old is like, yeah, I
oh,
little got a head start with your sister, so we good.
fair
No,
enough.
I can handle you right now until you get hers. And I'm like, oh God. Nah. But
Oh,
yeah, the 4-year-old at the same time, I've never had a newborn of my own.
yeah,
So
yeah,
to watch my little one grow until she's 4,
yeah.
it was a totally different from my oldest when she was 3 till now.
So
So it's
how
like
was
I'm
that
still
experience?
learning. It was different. It was hard, uh, but fun because you get to watch her go from a little tiny little baby to a little girl that can speak full blown English and talk her not talk.
I got so much to say
Mhm.
too.
Yes, and so many like the last podcast you were saying, there's so many questions and ask so many different things, and then you don't even know how to answer the question that they ask. You're like, I don't, the sky is blue because the water is blue, but why is the water blue?
Somebody
Nope,
could die in it. What you
I
mean?
don't know. Ask Jesus something. I don't know.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I feel you. I feel you. So, what do you feel like as far as like the whole idea of being like a dad, a father, a protector? What do you find to be the most rewarding part that you found so far?
rewarding part
Mm-hmm.
is to basically have them learn from what you're trying to teach them and also live it and be like, oh, well, I understand what you
Mm.
were telling me. So I can actually tell you something and give you a chance to be like, listen, this is going to happen and this is how things go. You can do this, but be ready for the outcome.
Oh, yeah.
And have them be like, you know what, I'm going to make this decision and then follow suit on that decision that they've made. and be like, you know what, I should have listened to that, or maybe, oh, that was wrong on that part. This actually worked out for me kind of well. So to watch them grow up and make these decisions, I basically the 11-year-old watching her make these decisions, and she could be like, you know what, I think I can follow suit on what dad said because maybe that'll work out better for me, or let me test this out and see. Because as they're kids, they still got to make their own mistakes and figure out what route they're gonna go. As the
Right.
little one goes, she's just watching her grow up is amazing. Just watching the changes as she goes through because she's so tiny and then goes so big and doing what they do is just amazing. Just watching it happen.
So I'm curious to know because like one of the reasons I started this podcast, I was thinking to myself like,
Mm,
obviously with me being a dad, not having a blueprint to how this whole thing works, just with the absence of my father and all my dads, right?
right.
You kind of have to like wing it. And so I wanted
A
to start
lot.
something like this because you got the opportunity to talk to a bunch of different people in a bunch of different situations. So like, somebody's going through something over here that might be similar to your situation, might be similar to my situation. So with your situation, your lady, your wife now, uh,
Right.
she had a kid when you guys met and you guys started dating. How was that experience? Like, how did you get to the point where you were able to? Because a lot of men don't have that in them. A lot of
A
men don't
lot
have the
don't.
ability to take on the responsibility and like really own it, right? Like, it's one thing to be like, oh yeah, my girl got a kid, but it's another thing to own it. Like, no, no, this is my child. Like,
Right.
the presence or the absence of a father or not, this child is, I'm gonna take care of them. They're in my protection. They're in my custody. If for lack of a better word. How did you get to that point? Like, what was that experience like for you?
Well, that stems from something else. It stems from like two different parts. I didn't have my dad growing up at all. I spent time with him maybe for about 2 months, and then never seen him again for another like year and something. And then I'd seen him for a day, and then never seen him again, and never spoke to him again. So it's kind of like deadbeat dad. And then you have my stepdad that was with my mom, but then also was there, kind of not there, you know what I'm saying, and didn't treat per se me and my siblings, besides his own kid, as their own. He treated them more like, well, you're just here, you know what I'm saying, at the time. And I just didn't want her to grow up with the same mentality that I grew up with seeing that he was there, not there, as per my stepdad,
Yeah.
being there, not there, you know what I'm saying, and then not learning like learning life lessons as a boy. You know what I'm saying? At the time being, I didn't have a father figure. I just had me and my brothers and my sisters.
Yeah.
And then my brothers also was clearly growing up without a dad. My sisters growing up without a dad. So it was all of us just winging it pretty much the whole time. So we're trying to trying to like learn lessons as we go and make our own set of mistakes and learn from our mistakes and just build up that way. I wanted my children to grow up having that in them still, but not with a dad, without a dad. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Let them make little choices, but at the same time, give them some type of guidance as they were making those choices. You know what I'm saying? Because it's one thing for you to make these choices and do it and not know what the outcome is. You know what I'm saying? Now I made certain decisions where I know I'm like, okay, I should have did this because maybe it would have went this way. Now when my daughter goes through a certain similar situation, let me explain to you. I went through this situation. This is how it went for me. If you want to go this route, you never know. It might be the same way or might work better for you. You never know. But at least she had the option of hearing it from me and knowing, all right, well, maybe this will work for me. Maybe it won't. But at least I have that in my head. I'm not when I like she's not per se winging it, but at the same time she is.
Yeah.
She's making the decision.
So in your situation, so for someone out there, who is, they probably just started dating somebody who has a kid or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
What was the, because normally I feel like when you date someone who has a child already, there's a bit of a time period, and it might be a little different because you said that she was 3 years old when you guys met,
Yeah.
so it might be a little bit different. But what do you feel like the time was before things got, like, before you got into the flow, like how long did it take before you were like, okay, all right, no, no, okay, oh, she crying, oh, what we doing? You know what I mean? Like, how long did that take to balance out for you?
I want to say what the time frame and the age she was at, it was more like a whole maybe like a year, maybe a year and a half
Oh wow.
before it was actually like a flow and a constant thing to where she understood who I was and what I was there for. Because at first I just looked like one random guy that was just in her life that her mom was just hanging around with. And it's like, oh, that's her best friend. That's her best friend. And it's like, you don't know yet because Who's this guy? Now,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
as she was getting older, she started to understand. Well, this guy's constantly in my life. This guy's constantly here. He's
Mm,
a person, until she actually grew a bond with me
yeah.
and was like, I like this guy. This guy's pretty cool. Oh, mom, when is he coming around again? Or when am I gonna get to see him again? So it was actually a bond that we were together in order for her to understand. He's not just a person that's gonna be here and then leave. He's an actual person that's there and is gonna stay there. I'm gonna constantly see him.
Yeah.
So we actually broke the news to her and told her, well, he's actually my boyfriend. And then she
Mhm.
was like, oh, okay. She was, clearly at the time she liked me as a person, so she was openly
Yeah.
welcoming that. And then yeah, it worked out for her. It worked out for her as well. She didn't rebel against it or anything like that. At first, it's more of a, okay, I get it. You guys are dating, but then it was like, oh, yeah, when are we gonna see him again? When are we gonna hang out? When is it gonna be a good time? So it was an easy, smooth transition, but it was a pretty long one because we wanted her to get used to it without messing up her head. Like, oh well, he's here. That's it. No, it's more of a study pace. Okay, now she understands, so we could, you know,
Wow, that's awesome though. Like to take
yeah.
that level of consideration for her and like really
She's the
think about.
person, so it's like, you can't just hit them
Awesome.
with her like, oh well, that's it. And
Yeah.
then one thing, a child it can mess with their head. You know what I'm saying? Oh well, you're not with my dad. Why can't you be with my? They have so many questions. You know what I'm saying? And as a kid that used to be a kid myself and was wondering why isn't my dad around? Why can't you be with my dad? And my mom was with my brother's father.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't understand. I want her to be able to understand that. You know what I'm saying? Not saying her dad's not present because her dad is still there in the picture, but I want her to understand who I am in her life and how I can help her. You know what I'm saying? And not take, her fatherhood that she has away from her dad and get them mixed up. I want her to understand I'm here for you as well, just as much as he is, and you have us both here if you need us.
Yeah. That's dope, man. That's absolutely so. We don't have to touch on this part too long, but I am curious. Do you and her dad, do y'all have a decent relationship for the sake of the child? Or
Yes,
okay.
we don't to the point where I'm not saying he's like, we're buddy buddies and we're gonna
Yeah,
go
yeah,
on
yeah.
dinner dates and whatnot. But hey, how you doing? Oh, we're good. We're yeah, okay.
Of
We
course.
don't show any animosity towards each other. We don't argue. We don't do any of that. It's more of a hey, how you doing kind of thing. But we
Mhm.
respect each other as fathers
Yeah,
in the relationship with my daughter.
yeah. That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. That's a big deal too, because
A
that
lot
type
of guys can't do it. I've seen a lot of guys that
oh,
that are beefing because of this and that and whatnot. Do I disagree with some of the things he does? Yeah. Does he disagree with some of the things I do? Yeah. But as of being together as fathers and having her in the middle of it, we
yeah,
don't want to screw her head up. So I'd rather just listen, I have my set of opinions, you have your set of opinions, and we're gonna do it the way we need to do it to make sure it's okay with her.
yeah.
And she's at peace with it and she doesn't have to deal with what we dealt with as kids. You know what
That's
I'm
amazing, bro. That speaks volumes on both your sides, man.
saying?
That's a big thing. Like I
I
said,
appreciate
a lot of people can't do that, man. A
it.
lot of people can't do it.
I've seen it. Trust me, I've seen it.
That's amazing. So let me ask you,
Mhm.
regardless of where you live, where you are, regardless of the times, in general, what do you think would be right now like your biggest fear for your children? Like whether it be growing up, whether like just whatever. What do you think would be what is your biggest fear for your children right now?
One of my biggest fears would be them getting judged for who they are. You know what I'm
Ooh,
saying?
interesting.
Growing up, and there's so many levels. Growing up in a community where you're getting judged because of who you are, who you like, what you want to be in life, in any aspect, I feel like that's where it lies the most. Because kids can't be who they want to be now because of what we're gonna say social media or people set standards for what you have to be. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, I want to be let's use a small example. A gamer, or you can't be a gamer. You're not gonna grow up in life and be anything because gamers don't go anywhere. I know a lot of successful gamers right now that are up on the top, and they're making more, almost the same amount of money as a doctor for no apparent reason, but they are. So I give kudos to them because they do this stuff every day, and they're making bread off of something so small. But it's something they chose to do and they have passion for, so they're stuck to it. They're making money off of it. I, I don't see why not. You know what I'm saying? But you can't down them for what they're doing when they gave it a shot and it worked for them. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? If you want to be a gamer, you be a gamer. You want to sit here and you want to be a doctor, be a doctor. You want to sit here and be a guy that cleans windows for a living. By all means, you do what you do that makes you happy. Don't let social media, don't let society per se judge what you're gonna do in life.
Yeah.
Make that decision on your own, and if you're gonna make that decision, stick to your decision until you feel all right. This is not the decision for me, or this is what I love, and I'm just gonna keep doing it.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Wow. Okay. I dig that, man. Okay. So, have you noticed, like, within their childhood, their schooling is a big one, right? Because
Right.
you have an older daughter, and like, kids are mean. They're
Hmm.
mean. So, how do you navigate like the the mental side of things? Because as a father, naturally, well, as a parent, but more so as a father, you're a protector. You want to take care of your kid. Something goes
Always.
down, you're like, who did it? What they at? You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
definitely.
Like, how many?
Hmm.
So,
Who the boy? Got lots
right.
of teeth out.
Look, all of them. He don't need no front teeth. Yeah. like,
Pearly whites,
how do you
yeah.
navigate that though? Like, how do you go? Oh, my daughter's at this level. Like, she does your like. I'm not sure what your situation is. Does she ride the bus and stuff?
No, no, no. She actually walks to school. She's distance from here to school.
Okay,
But
so
right
she's
now they're
more
doing
so.
homeschooled. So at the
Right,
time right
right,
now,
right,
so it's
right,
easier
right,
to
right.
see. But at the time when she was going to school, yeah, she would walk to school. She's like right down the block from here.
So how do you handle that? Like, how do you not be in your head about like what's going on when they get older?
It's hard because it's like you want to sit there and you want to be the protector at all times, every time of the day, know what they're doing and how things are going, and if anything went wrong, that you can handle it. But in the society we live in, you can't even don't not per se want to approach a child because you never want to approach a child. You want to make sure that they're children. They deal with how they deal with situations on their own. But if it escalated, you want to be able to talk to a parent. You
Yeah,
can't nowadays talk to a parent without the parent feeling like, oh, well, you're threatening my kid. I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna get my gun and I'm gonna shoot. It's a civil conversation for our kids to understand that they need to get along. They need to not have this beef. We already have enough beef with the world, let alone have beef with each other. You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
So to sit down and have a conversation with a parent alone is hard, let alone trying to get it with the kid. So as the best we try to do with that is avoid it at all costs, as much as I can really say.
yeah,
But when she does have those situations, we do try to make sure that we're on top of things and make sure that she understands that it's okay to speak out and it's okay to set your opinion. Just don't go to a point where you're belittling people or making sure that you're hurting their feelings and you know just take it about a civil way. Don't ever make someone feel like they're not somebody. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? And if you ever feel like someone's making you feel that way, you let us know. And again, we'll take care of that in our own little bubble that we have to do as parents.
yeah. Awesome. That's amazing. So it seems like you and your wife like really have a solid unit where you communicate this kind of stuff with your kids and make sure that they're really understanding that this is our support system, this is our standard of values in this household, and your parents got your back no matter what. Does that sound?
Right.
That's dope, man.
We definitely try to get the kids to understand it's okay for you to speak your mind. Just don't do it to the point where you get yourself in trouble.
That part.
Just keep it at a minimum. Keep it at
Yeah,
a minimum.
yeah. I love it, man. So let me ask you, because obviously, like the way you talk right now, the way you're articulating yourself, the way you like talk about your children, it seems like you have definitely had some experiences that brought you to the point where you are today to be able to make such decisions in that way. Because like we talked about earlier, some people just don't have it. Some people, they still want to live in the life and have a kid, so they be like
Yep.
super aggressive with the kid and like talking to the kid like they adults and all this kind of stuff, like just being too much, right?
Right.
What kind of things do you feel like you okay, what is the biggest thing you can remember from your childhood that had the most impact, or the most positive impact on your life?
Positive impact.
Yeah.
Well, all right. So we're gonna go into a little segment where we really don't talk about, but I don't mind talking
Fair
about it
enough.
right now. So it's all right. Impact. Well, there was a situation where I was in a shelter with my brothers
Mhm.
and my mother, and we just recently moved out of an apartment that well, we got kicked out of the apartment
Yeah.
because the rent wasn't paid and nonsense. So as a kid that was in high school, 17 and whatnot, it was difficult, of course, of always going to shelters back and forth. So we ended up in a shelter in Brooklyn, and I was going to school in the Bronx. Uh, my mother was supposed to come home, well, to the shelter at a certain time. She never made it. Uh, they didn't mind it too much at the first time. The second day came around, she never came by. By the third day, they were like, "Hey, listen, you already passed your limit. we're gonna have to kick you guys out.
Yeah.
We're like, fine. So we're calling my mom, so then she knows, listen, we're getting kicked out. We gotta get our things. We gotta go. Nowhere to be found. But finally, by the time it hit nighttime, we got in touch with her and we let her know, hey, listen, you need to come back home because we're getting kicked out and we need you here, or else they're actually giving us a last chance. You can at least come and we could talk to them and maybe settle something out. Oh no, I'm not coming back. We looked, what? We're not coming back. Oh, I'm not coming back. I'm good. I'm like, yo, you can't come back for your kids. It's me and my two brothers.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm the middle child. So my older brother's like 18, so he's just about ready to go with his daughter. And then it was me, which I'm like at the same time, at that time I was like 17, so I was still young. And then my brother that was like, I think he was 15, I think it was. So it was like, dude, we like kids still, and we're trying to like figure things out, and we're in a shelter waiting for you, which is the mother, the adult, and you're not even here.
Yeah.
So long story short, they ended up about to kick us out. My brother was able to emancipate himself, or whatever the case may be, is, and get to, being that he has his daughter, he's technically an adult. He was able to do his own process with the shelter and go about his business.
Yeah.
My younger brother had his dad that was able to take him on and be like, listen, I'm your guardian. I'm gonna take you anyways. You shouldn't even be with your mother to begin with. I'm just gonna take care of you now. Fine. So I was left in the middle, like, who's taking care of me? You get what I'm saying? So it was to the point where I thought maybe my sisters would come around. My brother, well, not my brother because he was young still too, so he had his own business. But somebody would come around. Not my brother, not my brother, not my sister, not anyone of my family members from my mother's side or anything came to me and was like, hey, listen, we'll take him. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I'm pretty sure they got in contact with everyone they could have.
Yeah.
So no one stepped up. No one. Until it took my stepdad to make the decision, like, listen, I'll take him on. And that at first when he was with my mom, it was more of a, damn, he really doesn't care or anything. You know what I'm saying? He just cares about his son. And that right there, when he did that, it showed me all these years that passed by, me think he really didn't care.
Yeah.
Did he really care? Just that he had a hard time showing it, or get what I'm saying? So that right there was a life changer for me. It made me look at someone in a different way. So I didn't want my kids to go to the same issue that I've been through, and I didn't want her to feel like I'm my oldest, to feel like no one loved her or whatnot. So I want her to see that even though I'm not your biological father, I can still love you just as much as your own dad loves you. You know what I'm saying? And I love you just as much as I love your little sister. Yes, she's biologically mine, but what does that separate? You get what I'm saying? I've known you since you were 3 and she was born, but I treat you both just as much as the same. She gets in trouble for something, you get in trouble for something.
Right.
She gets the love, you get the love. You know what I'm saying? You get the praise for doing all the good work, she gets the praise for doing all the good work. So it's like I want them to learn that it's okay. It's okay to just feel. It's okay to be who you want to be, and it's okay to do what you want to do. Just do it at a humble way. Don't ever feel like no one cares. Don't ever feel like it's okay to make someone feel bad. I want them to learn the way that it's hard for kids to learn nowadays.
Yeah.
I know a lot of kids that would feel like they have to show out in order to get attention. They don't have to show out to show attention. They get it.
Likes.
Mm-hmm. They don't need all the likes. They don't need all that. They have their parents and they have us that have the stability that shows them, listen, whether you get in trouble, whether you do good, we still love you regardless.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So
beautiful, man. Wow.
Where that goes.
Yeah, I remember that because that was a spot. Your stepdad, that was a spot in Harlem, right?
Right, and that was around that same time. Like that was like literally at the very end when I moved out from his house. So and during that time, that was around that time where when you were coming over and stuff and do dances.
Then though, we used to get it in, man. Oh
yes,
my
we
God.
did, man. The videos are still up, by the way.
I was just showing my lady that last night, bro.
Yeah,
the one we did,
from your house to my house.
No, not. I haven't seen those ones in a minute.
I have those. Which one are you looking at?
What? I was looking at the one where we all went downtown. Like me, you, Godfrey, Josh, all of us went down.
Find that video. You gotta send me that one. I haven't seen it.
Oh, what was
man?
I can't think of the word. The big old park. It's downtown Manhattan. Why can't I think of the word?
Central Park.
Central Park. Oh my God. Yeah, man.
It's been a minute.
I remember we took the whole day. We just like rode the train, went downtown, we just dancing all day.
All day. That was
my God. That was a great time, man. She's. I didn't even know. Like, I mean, obviously, you and I talk, we communicate, and I've been around for some stuff, so
Right.
I met your mom, beautiful soul, and obviously, there's a lot that was going on in that time that I clearly didn't know about. I mean, I know
Hmm.
stuff
Yeah,
about.
because I didn't really talk on it, so it was like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
wouldn't know if I didn't talk on it.
But it's interesting because that speaks a lot to you because regardless, like you hear something like that and you, from what I can remember, have always been like this positive, upbeat person. Like
Yes.
day one. Since see, you know how I remember you, bro? It was you used to draw your own on your forces. You drew the Bugs Bunny forces,
Oh
your
yeah,
own
I
design
forgot
on the
about
Bugs Bunny.
those.
Yo, I was like, yo, this
Yo, I
dude needs
forgot
to
all
be
about
like working
those.
for Nike, bro. I remember that like it was yesterday,
I
bro.
did that one, and I remember the one I do remember like it was yesterday. It was Scooby Doo. I
Yep,
did a Scooby Doo
yep.
one too.
I remember them, man. I remember seeing those, and
Man,
I was
you
like,
brought me back,
how is
back.
somebody
Damn.
this talented like not working there right now? Like it was insane, bro. That's amazing, man. Yeah. So I mean, just to think about that, like you were going through all that stuff in that time, and your personality, your energy was always so upbeat, bro.
Mhm.
That's crazy. That's crazy to me. That's amazing.
Yeah, and
So,
even
oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
no, go ahead. You good, good.
No, I'm not blinking. Go.
I'm not blinking. And even through the whole it was hard, but even through the passing of my mother,
Yeah.
she it was tough. And
Yeah.
to show my kids strength between that as well,
Yeah.
you know, I think it was one of the most hardest things I think I've had to do. And to show them it's okay, to have lost someone and still be a happy person. Because at the time, to be a happy person was not the easiest.
Yeah.
But to show them, listen, it's okay. It happens. You know what I'm saying? She died at a young age, but
Yeah.
eventually it had to happen to the point where you could be like, all right, you know what? It's okay. We don't have to feel like everything's gonna stop and everything's gonna end, which it did feel like at one point.
Yeah.
But I had to be the strong person for them. You know what I'm saying? To have them watch me at the moment cry because my mother passed, and I just found out my daughter cried, and I had to like suck up the tears, like it's all right.
Yeah.
It happens. It's life. You know what I'm saying? So that's one of the other difficult things I had to do when it comes to being a parent, and it's I think it's one of the most hardest ones.
Jeez, I mean the matters of the heart tend to be the most difficult ones. Like you can, I mean, the ER handles most of the big issues when it comes to physical damage,
Right.
but when it comes to matters of the heart and explain, like I had a situation yesterday actually with my oldest daughter, where she had a situation with a little boy getting too handsy, and this is a 6-year-old.
No.
So, and she came and she, I do check-ins with my kids on, how's your day, da da da, how did
Right.
it
Right. Of course.
go? So, every once in a while, you can tell when your kid's not all the way on. So, like, I'm
Mhm.
following her around the house. Hey, you good? Everything okay? And
Yeah.
then she finally told me what went on. And just like the way she handled it, she told her teacher. She,
Right.
like she stood up for herself.
Right.
And
Which is all
that,
you ever want for your child.
bro, the
You
whole
can't
night,
help but
all I
but
did
be
was
happy about
praise
that one.
my daughter, bro. I was like, "That's amazing, honey. I'm so proud of you. I mean, that's so mature of you. That's such a good thing. You knew this is something that you don't like this, and you can say no, back off. I'm not doing this. So
Right.
it's just like to think about that and to think, man, it kind of validates you a little bit because you're like, oh, okay. All right, I'm doing it good. She stood up for herself. So
Right.
I'm
And then
doing
you're like,
something right. You know
on
what
the
I'm
side
saying?
of the team, bro. I can't do
It's
it.
amazing, man. So when you think about your childhood, right? You've done some stuff. We've done you've done some stuff.
So huh? What? Huh? Nah.
Yeah, man. I mean, we run wild a couple of times. What do you think about what's something that you did when you were younger that you just absolutely do not want your kid to do?
Kind of hard to mention that one on here. Nah. Oh shoot! Oh big bit. But
Yo, oh, so many times.
yes, in different places, Bronx, Manhattan, Brooklyn. Nah.
Yo.
Don't get in cars with strangers. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I've never done that. Um, no. If I had to, can't really pick a time because it's like if I pick one of those times, dude, we'll be talking about that for a minute.
Yeah.
But if I could say like in general,
Yeah.
honestly, one thing I want to say that I wouldn't want them to do that I've done that is the worst would be lie. I was why would I say a compulsive liar
Mm,
in a way.
okay.
Um, anytime some tough situation came around, or it's like a girl or something happened, and
Yeah.
they asked me a question, and I just come out and I blankly lied because I didn't want them to know the truth. Um, about where I was, what I was doing. My mother would ask me, I would lie. I would say, just don't lie. I've learned it becomes a habit to the point where it's it starts to become not who you are, but what you do all the time.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And then it's like it could be a simple question as of what did you do yesterday? And you simply were just staying home, chilling and watching games. Now I went outside. I went to the store and then I seen Tom and I went with Tom to go get some drinks and then we had fun and then we went out to the nightclub. When in all reality you were home all day. Why are you lying about something that you never did? You know?
Right.
Or if you did go out to the nightclub and did all that stuff and then you lie and say, oh no, I was home. You get what I'm saying? It's like you're and then it could have been it could have been a friend asking you this and you're lying about it. You're saying, oh, well, you don't lie. It's just it's a bad, really bad habit to the point where it becomes an everyday thing, and it's just it took my wife to basically till then for her to show me like it was like 10 years, like 8 years ago, to show me listen, it's not good to do that. It's a really bad habit, and then that slowly but surely I started to descend from that and start telling the truth, and ever since then everything started becoming better and better and better and better to the point where I don't feel like I have to step on eggshells when it comes to people. I can be free and say what I need to say and not feel like I'm going to get judged or, you know, get penalized for what I say. It's more of a just, you can speak freely and not worry about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's more of a general thing rather than what I've done. Because if it's what I've done, boy, boy, boy,
Okay.
stay home.
Yes.
It's the only suggestion I can give them.
Huh?
I
Stay
said, stay
home?
home is the only suggestion I could give them.
Now we both know.
They ain't doing that. I'm going out with Tiffany. Who's Tiffany? What's her name? Where's she from? What's her last name?
Staying home. Oh my God, staying home got us in trouble.
Yeah, that happened too.
So
That didn't stop us.
because you seem like first of all, your personality, like the character that you are, is special. Like that's rare to have your level of positivity and still
Thank you.
through all that you're going through, bro, and then come out and still like I said, bro. I remember you. Like there's always this bright light around you since high school. Like you just always have this like upbeat energy, and some of the stuff that I mean, granted, I knew some things. You know, we've had some talks, we've been in some situations.
Right.
No, I knew some things, but I didn't know like a lot of this stuff. And so, um, who do you feel like, if anybody,
Mm-hmm.
as far as like male figures that help impact or enhance that level of positivity that you already have in you, who would you feel like has done that for you, and what happened, what did they do, or what sequence of events happened to make that to help enhance who you are today?
Well, it's a couple of people. I want to name about three.
Okay.
About three male figures.
Yeah.
If you're talking about male figures, it would be I would I want to start from how do I start it? I want to start it in order, in a
Okay.
way.
Mm-hmm.
So first is you.
Me?
Yes, and there's a reason.
Okay.
First because let's go back in the day, back in time. We started in high school,
Hey,
and
I'm gonna edit out.
Huh?
No.
Yeah, we ain't gotta edit this one. We good. Nah, we gotta we started in high school, and you already we were friends. Everything was cool. And there wasn't much I was doing at the time when we met. It was just going to school, going home, and then my life was just that in between. You get what I'm saying? And as again, you didn't know, I was in the shelter situation
Yeah.
from the time I started high school all the way almost to the very end. I was in the shelter situation, so no one knew that. No one knew that, not even you.
Yeah.
But at the time, you again, like you just said, you saw that bright light in me to the point where you felt like you needed to not help me per se, but bring me on to something that you felt was good for me,
Yeah.
which was dance. If it wasn't for the day, because let's put it this way, go a little further back than that.
Yeah.
When I was in Puerto Rico, I lived over there for about 8 months, and my brother is a dance choreographer for the Boys and Girls Club. I went almost there every other like day faithfully to watch him dance and whatnot. And I told him, bro, I want to be part of your crew. And he was like, I got no problem with you doing that. Just get permission from your parents, and I just to make sure that everything's cool. He's like, all right, no problem. I went up to my mom. My mom was all right, whatever, case maybe is. But then the one person that I needed approval from was my grandmother. My grandmother's very religious, and she knew. Let's put it this way: my grandmother knew the type of uh, person my brother was. He not currently he's a Boys and Girls Club, so he's a very good person. But he was gay.
Okay. Okay.
So she, as a Christian woman, didn't appreciate the fact that he's gay and whatnot. So she felt that I would go down that same route. So she was pretty much like judging how I was being when I was a kid. So I wasn't able to join the club because it was between that. My mom was like, "Well, your grandmother said no," and she's pretty much the person that takes care of you because my mother went out and did what she did. So it was a no for her. She was like, "You can hang out, but you're not allowed to join the club." So I was like, so when you brought me on to doing that, it sparked that back in me, and it was a should I not, should I not? So that's when I joined. I tried out a couple times, you remember,
Yeah.
and I ended up leaving and not coming back for a couple. And then Jamel was like, "Hey, what's this all about? Like you were doing great, and then you just leave. What's going on? You were like a good student. You should come back."
Yeah.
To the point where I felt like in my head, my grandmother was talking to me like, "Oh, you shouldn't do, and you shouldn't be, and you shouldn't, because you're gonna be." And I felt like that was just something that was just like in my head at the time. To the point where I felt like, you know what, I can't let what happened years ago and what she said years ago stop me again now. I feel like this time I can make the decision on my own, being in school, and then she's all the way in Puerto Rico. Like she's not my guardian anymore, so I feel like I am able to do this and not have her judge me for what I am or what, not what I am, but what I'm doing. Get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's when I had to make the step to actually going into dance and actually loving it to the point where we did it for what, 4 years?
Yeah, man.
Won
Yeah.
competitions left and right. We do it. You know,
Showtime.
I, and all it took was for you to come to me and tell me about something that was free. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So in that aspect, and the reason why I say is because it went from the time that you did that till now, where I still dance and I still enjoy it and I still want to go back to doing classes and I still want to do all this stuff. And all it took was for you to actually mention it to me. You know what I'm saying? So that's what brings out part of me. And the one person to help me was you. So I appreciate that and I thank you.
My brother. Absolutely, man.
Second person I want to say would be my oldest brother. Reason why I say my oldest brother is because when times got hard and we had to eat and we had to, survive and do what we needed to do during the shelter time, my brother took the step to actually quitting school, getting a job, and paying all the bills, making sure there was food in the house, making sure that the rent was paid, when it was he was able to pay it, and all that extra stuff. You know what I'm saying? And so he actually became a father, and he had to step down from that fatherly role from us and gave it to his daughter, and I respect him for that still. Get what I'm saying? So I appreciate my brother for actually stepping up and doing what it took to be a father to his own brothers. You get what I'm saying? And to mold us to being better men rather than boys that can go into this darker spot in life.
Right. Right.
And then the last person I could really thank is my best friend now. His name is Lyndon. Uh he actually, anytime I speak to him, anytime I talk to him, he sends positive vibes. He's never negative about certain situation. He always motivates me to do better things and make better moves, not just for me, but for my family as well. He always looks out for my family. He's my daughter's godfather. You know what I'm saying? So he's always there to do something. He's always there to make the situation better, not darker or lessen. He always wants to make it better than the next time. Get what I'm saying? So
So
I appreciate what he does for me in my life.
wow, wow, bro. I
Yeah.
mean, so I want to touch on something real quick because I think
Yeah.
it's a big deal. You mentioned your older brother just now and saying like how he, took you guys, took on the responsibility, the role of essentially being a father for you guys. And then the bigger thing was he didn't just because there's a lot of dads who go to work, come home, feed, they buy the food, they take care of the kid, but they don't
Interact. They don't.
interact with that kid at all. They just,
Right.
they don't. It's like, hey, I'm a dad, you a kid. See you later, right?
Right.
Like for real, for real. Like, what? How did you find yourself? Because obviously, I'm sure you've been obviously working hard since I've known you. So at this point, I can't imagine much of that has changed. So working, going to work, doing what you got to do, come home, finding the energy to not just interact, but like actually pay attention, right?
Right.
Because it's one thing to be like, oh yeah, giggle, giggle, and you just laughing, oh yeah, but to actually be like, all right, bring the doll over here. Let me put the ponytail on the doll, which is really
Right.
hard to do, by the way. That
Yeah. They have us do it. They have us do it.
right,
Every day, my daughter comes
right.
put the sweater on the doll. So she said, Dad, you can put the sweater on the doll. I'm like, yes, come. I put the sweater on the doll.
Oh no.
And then the doll starts talking out of nowhere, and then that's how that happens.
Yo, I love it. So how do you find the energy, or I guess what you need to be able to do that actively
It's
on a
just
daily basis?
it's just them. It's just them. Really, it's the fact that I've never had a physical dad there in my life.
Okay.
Besides that last bit of time my stepdad was there, but that's after I was already like 17. So it's like
Right.
the most she's doing is making sure I'm okay. But as of knowing and learning and being there, no one that I never had a dad. So it's like I want to give my kids what my dad never gave me, which is the attention. Till this day, my dad knows I'm alive. My dad knows he has a granddaughter. Doesn't call, doesn't do anything. Get what I'm saying? So I don't look at that as a oh well, it's it's bothering me. Of course it bothers me. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to show that to my kids. I'm going to show my kids the opposite of what it is you did to me. You never showed me attention. They're getting all the attention from me. You know what I'm saying? I never got the actual dad love. They get all the dad love. You know what I'm saying? And I show them as much attention as I can when I get home on the weekends, whatever. I try to show them as much as I can, so then they learn dad's here. You know what I'm saying? That you see me. We play together. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's dolls, whether it's playing games, whether it's doing TikToks. You know what I'm saying? I'm there. You know, me and my wife make sure that we're there not 24/7, but we're there all the time when we're able to be there. Show them all the attention, get them to learn what they need to learn. It's not easy, but it's something that I refuse to let happen to them the way it happened to me. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
amazing. Yeah, yeah, I feel you. I'm literally in the same boat with you, bro. Like
Right.
I tell my like I'm a serial dad. Like like I'm
Mm-hmm.
I'm to the point where this is what I'm about. I'm about making sure that my kids are good. Like
Right.
everything else, I mean, that's all cool, but it's all about making sure that my two young ladies, they grow up, they are loved, they're cared for, they're taken care of, they're good, they're
My
confident.
main thing with my kids are I want them to see what I'm doing as a father and also as a husband. So that when they get older, they'll be like, that's it. If you can't tell me I'm beautiful almost every day, then why am I
Really?
with you?
Yeah, man.
If you can't look at me in sweats, if you can't look at me when I'm like at my quote unquote worst to her, it's the beautifulest way we see you. Get what I'm saying? If the man can't make you see that for yourself or make you feel that way, then there's no reason to have a man like that around. You know what I'm saying? If he can't keep his hands off you,
Yeah.
he's dead. No, I'm kidding. But you know, it's like I want them to understand that they don't need a man like that in their life. They need to have someone positive.
Yeah. I'm really like a hard time. I love it, man. But I do agree with you, though. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you want to set the precedence at this point. Like, you want to make
Right.
sure that this is the blueprint, this is the template. I want my kids to have so much confidence. So, like, one of the things I love about my lady right now
Mm-hmm.
is I don't I've met her dad a few times and like we've interacted. I applaud that because you can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Like I always tell people all the time, like my girl, she wants to be with me. She
Right.
don't need me. She good.
Right.
Like we're
That's what I'm saying.
confident
It's a
through the
you,
month.
yeah.
And that's one of the most attractive things to me is that she has the ability to just be like, I mean, I'm fine. There is no codependency. There's no that, and that's the kind of stuff I want to instill in my children, is to have that level of confidence to where it's like, no, I'm good. If I choose to be in a relationship, that's a choice I'm making. I don't need it. I
Right.
don't feel like, oh my gosh, I don't have a boyfriend. I need to get in. That's a choice.
Yeah, that's the same situation I'm in. So I
Yeah,
understand.
yeah, man. It's a
Is
beautiful.
it they don't feel like they need you. Yeah, like my wife says. She says, I want a man. I don't need a man.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's actual. You want me here. You don't need me here because you need me to pay bills. You need the love. No, you want it, so you have it. But if you needed it,
Yeah.
then it's a different story. You know
It's
what I'm saying? You only have me here because you need me. No, I want to be wanted, not needed. You know what I'm saying?
yo.
So that's one of her slogans.
Yeah.
I want a man, don't need a man.
I love it. I love it. That's the best thing, man. And that's awesome. So that's even twofold. Like to have a father like you on this side, saying like this is the kind of lessons I want to instill in my daughter and this and that. And then to have a mother like her on the other side, actively showing you what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be great, bro. That's amazing.
I'll tell you right now, they straight A students right now, so I
Yeah.
can't even complain. I got to put my hands like, hey,
Love
I'm doing me.
I love it.
No, I'm
Hey,
kidding. That's all them. That's all them. That's just molding. That's all we do.
yeah. So let me ask you this.
Sure.
What is one thing that you feel like you learned about yourself that you didn't before since becoming a dad?
All
Or
right, so
even something that you feel like you already knew, but like it like intensified after you're becoming a dad.
Yes. I trust me, you're gonna look and go, well, I heard this the last time. It was the same from the last pod you heard. It was the exact same thing because I was listening to it and I was like, oh, okay, clearly I listened to your pods. I was like, oh, well, here we talking about. So I'm listening and I'm like, as he's talking, as you're asking, I answered the question, and then as soon as I answered it, he said it. I'm like, oh wow, I said the same thing. It's patience.
Yeah.
I've never learned what it is to have patience until now. It is so. It was. You thought patience was like, oh, patience is nothing. I got patience. No, patience is so hard when it comes to like having kids. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you learn it. They want the stuff done now, and you're like, but I can't do it right now. I'm busy. You need to chill, relax, please. And they're like, no, but I want. Please, just give me a minute.
Yep.
I got to do this, and then I can help you with this. Please, just give me 2 seconds. Nah, they want it now. So it's like you learn patience. You learn that like to understand what it is to just take your time and relax and not have to rush and do things. Before when we were kids, we were like, oh, let's go, we got this. Now it's just no. I got it. Just let me do this. I got you next. Got it?
Absolutely.
And that's just not with that. That's with everything.
Yeah, and especially now, like in the world we live in, like everything is so instant, right? Like you got instant,
right?
So it's like, why can't I have it yesterday? Come on, what are we doing right here now?
Right.
And so one of the biggest things I feel like, because I think that the plan is the way it's supposed to be. Like God gave me girls,
right?
Because at least I think the level of softness that you have to have, because one of the big things, right, as a man, growing up, especially from our generation, it's like, you gotta be tough, you gotta be, blase blah, you can't, you a punk, and bro, New York,
right?
I mean,
if you ain't got that type of toughness in you, you gonna get it.
You can get jumped, you run your pocket, like anything can happen at any moment in time, and if you look weak, more than likely somebody's going to try to check you.
Right.
And so to you spend your whole life building up that, like, I got to be tough. And then you get these sweet little people, and you're that to transition out of that. Oh my gosh, how was that? How did you do that? Because that's not. I that took me a hot minute. Like to figure that out, to be like, oh no, like the way I talk to my children on a daily basis, like I use the word princess, beautiful, love so many times.
Right.
It comes naturally now.
Yeah, baby, this, that, whatnot.
Yeah.
I've never used as many words this many times. In fact,
Like for real though.
and then meant it the way I mean it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like Jesus. Nah. No. It was difficult because it's a crazy transition. It's from being, like you said, oh, tough. I can't show nobody that I'm a punk, to the point where it's like you gotta show this little girl that you gotta be. It's okay to be. It's okay to be sensitive. It's okay to cry. It's okay to do all these things that we were taught not to do. Um, but there's one thing I've always said, and it's something that I installed in myself from when I was young, and I've learned it over time. And I think that's why some of me is okay now, to the point where I'm as happy as I am, humble as I am when it comes to certain things, because I'm okay with crying.
Yeah.
I'm okay with crying. You put a sad movie on, I'm gonna try not to cry, but I'm gonna cry. You know
Hey,
what I'm saying?
bro.
So
Oh my
I
gosh.
have this sense of sensitivity in me that I can't control per se, but
Yeah.
it's because it's been installed in me because I was raised by a woman all my life. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So I was a little bit different. I was taught it's okay to cry
Okay.
versus you a boy, you ain't supposed to cry. If I had the father figure there, maybe they would have taught me that whole you're not supposed to cry.
Right.
But I didn't get that. So I got the it's okay to cry, the pat on your back kind of thing. To the
Okay.
point where I kind of felt like I was being too soft at times.
Yeah.
So it took like the time it took for my wife and I to get together and go, I give you some of my softness and you give me some of your roughness, and we can create this different type of person within each other and
Yeah.
bring the best out of each other. And we have
Wow.
8 years, and then we're teaching that to our kids.
Yeah.
It's okay to cry. It's okay to be upset. It's just the way you go about it that you have to kind of watch where you go, because you can get to the point where you get yourself in trouble and be too loud and get yourself in trouble at school, or feel like you got into too many fights because of your attitude. We're trying to get it to where they understand it's okay to be upset, it's okay to cry, it's okay to feel.
Yeah.
Just do it at a level where it's not hurting anyone else or yourself.
Yeah. You gotta find that balance.
Yeah.
It's a big deal. So, okay, let me ask you this, because you know, I'm glad you brought up this topic, because for like someone like myself, I within the last few years, I learned how
Hmm.
to cry. Like I learned how to just let my emotions be what they gonna be. Like you said, like I found
Right.
myself, what was it the other day? Uh, I think it was Moana. Like I found myself
Oh
crying
God,
in the middle of
Moana.
Moana. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and to get to the point where, but honestly, bro, I can tell you that that level of softness, the level of vulnerability that I
Hmm.
have now, a lot has enhanced so many of my other relationships. It's crazy because there's no, like, it takes away a lot of the ego that you
Right.
have. You gotta strip a lot of that away in order for you to have the level of vulnerability that you need to actually cry. Like,
Right.
I'm sad, but the tears ain't gonna come out. I just learned how to let the tears come out and
Right.
actually let that feeling go.
Right, because people think, oh, I cry, but I don't cry. Like my tears don't come down. You
Right,
didn't cry then. You
right,
held it in to the point where you bottled it up, and
yeah,
it stays in that little corner. But guess what?
uh-huh.
When that stuff bottles up and it stays in a little corner, they think, oh, that just disappeared. It didn't. You stored it. So guess what? It's like a jar. You keep jamming things into the jar, jamming things into the jar. After a while, that jar's gonna get so full, it's gonna pop.
Yeah.
And the way in a person how that would happen is emotionally, you're gonna lash out, or sometimes even show some type of aggression where you don't want to show aggression. That's
Mhm.
what with me and the way I am when I have an issue that I'm dealing with and everything. I not per se cried out, but I let my emotions be what they are.
Yeah.
I let my emotions show to the point where it won't hurt anybody, but they'll know, okay, he's not in the mood for such
Right.
and such. Maybe I can ask him what's wrong. Talk about it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of guys don't like talking about it when it comes to, their feelings and this and that and whatnot. I've learned that talking about your feelings actually helps. You know what I'm saying? Not saying you gotta be, well, this girl. No, it's
Right.
just, hey,
Right.
listen, this is how I feel, and I just don't like this. That's it.
Yeah.
Or this is how I feel, and just how it is.
See, and that's a big deal. I think that's one of the most. I think if I could wish for anything for dads out there, for men in general, right,
Hmm.
have the ability to express yourself in a healthy way,
Right.
without feeling constricted by the society's description of what a man should be.
Right.
That's where you end up with all these psychos, man. You got all
Hmm.
bottled up inside from when little Jimmy took your lunch bag in the fourth grade, and here you are, 25, and somebody just stepped on your shoe, and you wonder why you just plow their face in the wall. You're like,
Or you wonder
that
why
was
you in
Jimmy.
jail because you got charged for murder.
Yeah,
Like,
like
bro, that happens, bro.
yeah,
It
yeah,
happens because of this. The step. The what happens with that? You don't take the time to actually feel something and let you feel. You
yeah,
feel like, oh, well, that's just the B word move. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
It's not. Just
Yeah.
feel how you feel. It's okay. It's
Yeah.
you. Who's judging you for how you feel? And especially if you decided I'm gonna do this in closed doors. I don't want nobody to know, but I need to feel what I feel. It's okay to do that. Now, if you feel like this is how you feel within all the time, you're gonna have some troubles in your life for a while
Yeah,
because you have all that bottled in. Where's it going?
exactly. Man. Shoot, see, man, look, we're pulling up on the time now, man.
Hmm.
I appreciate you a lot for doing this, man.
Of
I'm
course, of
curious to
course.
know though, if you had something to share with a dad, right? We're talking about Manny who lives in Florida, Manny who lives in Connecticut, like somebody in your situation went through what you went through, similar situations. What advice would you give that person? As far as like, they're either just becoming a father, they're in your situation where they're taking on a beautiful young lady, a stepdaughter, if you will. Like, what advice would you give somebody like that?
What I give. Open up.
Okay.
A person like that will do what I first thought I was gonna do, which is like shut down and not really want to talk about it and be scared to say what they need to say and hold it all back. And if you felt a way about something that not something someone said, just in a way of like, oh, this is not your child per se, or you have something to say about to the mother of your child, what's going on and how you feel about something that y'all should have decided together. Talk on it. It's okay.
Mm,
That's one of the biggest things that I've learned. If you keep holding, like I said just now, if you keep holding it back and not expressing how you feel about certain things, all it's gonna do is pile up to the point where either you yell at your spouse or the mother of your child, or you get upset at someone because of what they did. Open up.
yeah.
You feel a way about something that happened with the child. It's just because it's not your child doesn't mean you're not human and you don't see what's going on. Say something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you feel like something's not fair, say something. You know what I'm saying? Open up.
That's
Once someone says something and they open that door, it's a lot easier for people to slowly walk through it now and understand what's going on and how they feel and get over the awkward feeling that they have within. Get what
yeah.
I'm saying? So it's like you're feeling awkward because you feel like, oh, well, I feel this way, but I feel like if I say something, she's going to get mad. And she'll get mad for like 2 seconds, go over there, sit down, think about it. Like at first she's going to think about herself just the same way anyone would, or he would think about himself same way anyone would and be like, damn, I don't like what was said, but what was said? This was said. How does he
Ooh.
feel? I understand.
Yeah.
Sometimes, not all the time, but
Right,
it's always
right.
best to let it out. You feel better now that you let it out. Now it's all up to the person to take it in as the way they took it in. But it's in you already to be like, you know what, I said my piece.
Yeah,
Now it's up to you to accept what I said or not. If you don't accept it, cool beans. If you do, now let's talk about it.
yeah.
You know
That's
what I'm saying?
man. That right there. I think if half the men on the planet, half the people on the planet could learn how to just be who you are, just be who you are, express it in a healthy way, be
Right.
who you are, say what you're feeling in a healthy way, keywords, you would be such a happier person.
Yes. Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. And to this day, I still learn that at times. At
Man.
times I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna say nothing. And then it's in me now to be like, you can't. You have to say something. Now it's about how you say it. Don't come over there with an angry with a what I feel. No.
Like
Listen,
you about to
I had
run
time to cool down. I don't need to come at you like Incredible Hulk.
I
I
feel.
had time.
Roll up on him like you Jordan.
Don't get on the mic. No, you want to be able to just look at them and go, you know what? This is. I had time to cool down. I had time to think about it.
Yeah,
We had our, whatever the situation was. But let me tell you how I feel.
yeah,
Explain it. Don't go off of aggression immediately. I've done that myself, and I stopped because it's just too much. You want to be able to go to them and be like, listen, this is how I feel, and I'm just letting you know. You don't even have to say anything. This is how I feel, just so you know, and it's in your mind. So now you know how I feel. You don't have to sit here. Some people just in their head think, oh well, I'm assuming this is how he feels. No, you know how I feel. I told you. You good. Now it's a matter of you taking it the way you want to take it.
Yeah. Wow. Brother, I can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your day
And
for
thank
doing this,
you for
man.
letting me on your show, man.
Dude, this is beautiful, man. Full circle, man. You've been my brother since I can remember, and yeah,
15 years, man. 15 years.
man.
You old. Oh my God, 15 years.
Oh, son.
15 years.
I'm not even gonna go there because I was just, who was I was talking to somebody this morning. I was like, man, you can't even put your socks on without making a sound nowadays.
Yeah.
Where I'm at, right? Like,
You been down and you're like, oh, shoot, my back. What do you
uh,
mean? You 30-something years old talking about my back. Listen, it's different.
it's different. This is children. Children, see what you did to me?
I got two of them. Don't play with me.
Yeah, man. No, man. I really do appreciate you, man. I'm sure what you just said on here is gonna help somebody. I mean,
Hopefully it does.
so much experience. So I appreciate you, brother. We're gonna definitely link up. I mean, we gotta hopefully things get back to normal sooner than later.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to make it out to Jersey and see what's up.
Yep. Having fun out here. Having fun out here.
All right, brother, man. Well, I'm gonna let you get back to your family. I love you, brother. I appreciate you so much, man.
I love you too. And I'll see you when I see you.
Yes, sir. All right, brother. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, man.
Later.